How do value propositions work? I'm going to show you examples of actual VentureWell e-teams who have put together a value proposition for their product and for their startup. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into a couple. All right, first we have a case study with Iconic Air. All right, so Iconic Air is an emissions mapping and analytics solution that makes it easier to process, analyze, and visualize any kind of emissions data. Okay, so here's a perfect example of a value proposition from Iconic Air. Okay, so it says that we provide emission reports and insights to leak detection and repair managers. Our end users has a problem and is locating gas leaks that cause loss of revenue and lead to negative PR or large environmental lawsuits. We solve the problem by collecting mobile air quality data and using our platform to provide leak location and details. We are 3 times faster, reduce product loss by 20% or more, and 30% cheaper than existing solutions in place. So, as you can see, that last line essentially is their value proposition. The value proposition, it includes multiple things, and we'll get into how to create your own soon. But let me tell you why this is a good value proposition. Because they really actually quantified their value. They at the end of this sentence, you saw here's a perfect example. It says 40%. So it talks about the time reduction in finding hazardous emissions. And it also talks about 10 times a decrease in profitability of high impact lead. Okay, so like these numbers, once you start quantifying the problem and quantifying your value, that can actually give customers an idea of how to basically fit your product within, their job, their life, and seeing how it is better to what they're currently using. So we'll go back real quick and see that last line right here. It says we're 3 times faster. We reduce product loss by 20% and 30% cheaper than existing solutions. Now, they're basically saying we're cheaper, we help you save money, and we're faster. All right, so those are all what a value proposition is. Okay, so I could jump into one more example from an e-teams. This is called Benpu. So basically, they created a temp watch. Their value proposition was, they wanted to improve weight gain, and their who was babies. They wanted to have reminders, for breastfeeding and KMC. So basically, the parents would be, the person who benefits from this, and then also it helps catch infections early. So it helps benefits the caregiver. So as you're looking through this example, basically you have to see who does your product benefit? Okay, this is what this one is kind of an example of. So the previous one was more so about the analytics and the quantify, like how this is improving it. And this is basically talking about who actually benefits from, a baby having, improved weight gain, or a parent having a reminder, or caregivers catching an infection early. So these are all examples of the value proposition, but more so focusing on who is actually benefiting